G'day, it's Rich McLean. I've got a question for Bill Shorten, the NDIS Minister. I've got evidence that I have chronic schizophrenia, ADHD, depression, anxiety disorder, and a cognitive brain disorder from a suicide attempt in which it was deemed a fatal injury and a lethal attempt, and they revived me. The reason I tried to kill myself was because I was vilified and persecuted for mental illness, and systemically and politically by the government. You've blocked my email from ever reaching you, so I'm going to send this evidence to you in another way, and I'd like an answer of why my SILS funding isn't met, because currently I'm facing down the barrel of homelessness again, and I'm not getting any help that I need. My daily life's confused, I get forgetful, I can't organise my thoughts, and I have trouble organising my life. I need assistance. The one person who's assisted me is Tash. He's an employee at Free Living Australia. Tash has now acknowledged, apart from me saying it, that there's a conspiracy to pervert the course of justice, which relates to me personally and victimises me, and further, that it's doing me damage and causing me harm and emotional distress and making me extremely vulnerable to homelessness and being taken advantage of, exploited, unevenly treated legally, and attacked. Now, unfortunately for Zabi, the CEO of Free Living Australia, he's refused to legitimise this complaint because he's fearful of reprisal for seeing to stick up for me, or maybe losing his job. But I've got news for you, Zabi, and for Bill Shorten. You're gonna be in trouble if you don't stick up for someone whose human rights are being abused on your books, and you don't make a report. Now, I'm aware of this conspiracy is political and systemic, and I'll give you an example. So I reported that to the Australian Human Rights Commission, and they refused to investigate. So I haven't got friends there, have I? And I haven't got friends at the NDIS because they refused to acknowledge me, and I haven't been able to speak to a local area coordinator in over 2 years, and in that time I've been rendered homeless and I've been dumped into a shelter. While I was in hospital, the last time I was a political prisoner basically, the hospital and the police oversaw Hung Ho, my landlord from Edenvale, going to my house and destroying every single thing that I own. I tried to bring it up at VCAT, no hope. Now, I'm not going to take this any longer. There is a conspiracy going on, and I'll tell you why. I'm a rejected whistleblower, now at Department of Social Security, for stupid reasons of me not being a public official when the federal court has stated that I was an employee of DSS, and the federal court and the health department and ASIC and APRA and other agencies. I deserve to be heard, and I deserve just compensation. My compensation's paid, and I deserve to be treated fairly, which has not happened for me. And so I got off track, but I just want to say that now that I'm firing Pawasha, my support coordinator, because she refuses to act on this, and I've never wanted to cause them harm, I really don't, but I've got to stick up for myself, and I've been told that if I fire them, then I'm not welcome in my home, and my home is owned by the husband of Pawasha from Free Living Australia. So you can see there's a conflict of interest there, and I'm staring down the barrel of homelessness. This week, I'm going to fire Miranda Holt from GuideStar. Thanks for your help, Miranda. She hasn't really come to the party in removing the systemic injustice, but she has actually written a letter to the AAT, the Workplace Minister, and AFCA, who have all systemically persecuted me and banned me, leading to millions of dollars in detriment. Thank you, Barran. But I'm not going to require your services anymore because I need to put that money into somewhere where someone is going to advocate for me. Palwasha refuses to do it. I've asked her numerous times to help me, and the boss, Zabi, clearly won't sign off on my human rights abuses, so this is a problem for me. Free Living Australia, you're off the hook. Imran, who owns the house, just don't make me homeless in the meantime. I'm going to move on to another service provider, and I'm going to ask them to send in an urgent report, a change of circumstance, and I'm going to ask them to detail with evidence the cognitive brain disorder, the chronic schizophrenia, and the ADHD, panic disorder and depression, of all of which should really get me over the line for a SILS package. I would like my medium-term accommodation to kick in so that I have somewhere to be with my beautiful dog Crystal and I. And I want that to be done urgently, and I want to be looked after. I deserve to be looked after. I've paid taxes my whole life, and you know what? I served the Australian community for over 30 years, helping local, state, federal, and even international audiences with advocacy in human rights issues and for people who were affected by mental illness and their carers. So I reckon I'm deserving of being looked after a bit. So Bill Shorten, I'd like to acknowledge, first of all, I want my current ndis package to pay for medium-term accommodation for my dog and I. I want a place to be. And I want that done immediately before I'm kicked out of my accommodation. No harm or ill intentions meant for anyone. And further, then I want an urgent plan review to acknowledge the evidence that I have, which everybody knows, but no one can seem to do anything about, thanks Miranda and Palwasha, about the urgent SILS package that I need. And I would like that to happen urgently because I'm staring down the barrel of homelessness, and you know what? I deserve to be looked after. I've helped this country for 30 years on a personal way in which I've got a Human Rights Award in Sane's Book of the Year. Not that the Victorian Human Rights and Equal Opportunity Commission or Sane Australia is helping me at any stage at the present. But you know what? I've given a lot, and I don't deserve to suffer this anymore. But I tell you what, I'm not going to survive if I am faced with homelessness again and I have to put my dog in a shelter and go and live on the street. Bill Shorten, this is a message to you. You are the NDIS Minister. I would like my plan at the moment to pay for my supported accommodation, my medium-term accommodation, that's up to 90 days. That can be done. And then I want an urgent review of my SILS package with the evidence that I have, which shows that I really do need the support. The reason I killed myself was because of systemic, profound political and systemic injustice. And that's an injustice which keeps on going for me. I don't deserve this. I just want to be safe. My former partner, an ASIO agent, has threatened to kill me and my dog for my whistleblowing, in which I simply requested a settlement for our 5 years engagement together in which he exploited me. And he has threatened to kill me and my dog. And he worked for ASIO. David Irvine knew exactly the way he was exploiting me because he enabled me to accept a pension while we were together. And this shows how complicit the Australian government is systemically in me being exploited, used and abused. There is a conspiracy to pervert the course of justice going on. It goes to ASIO, it goes to ASIC, who refused to investigate ASIO and Steve's exploitation of me, and it goes to AFCA, where I'm banned. It goes to the Australian Human Rights Commission, where I lost $1.5 million in a decision that was totally not impartial, and they refused to acknowledge me. It goes to the AAT, and Comcare and the AAT, where a corrupt member panel actually decided that I wasn't even a worker. What was I doing for 2 years? According to the SRC Act, but I have evidence to the contrary from the federal court which states I was an employee of DSS. I want my public interest disclosure with DSS to be investigated urgently, and I want to be safe from harm and safe from further exploitation, and I want this conspiracy to pervert the course of justice acknowledged, and I want to feel safe, and I want to have a home, I want to have a bed, and I want to have food. I gave to this country for 35 years. It's Bill Shorten's remit right this second to acknowledge this YouTube video and guarantee to me that I will have a home and that I will have a place to be, and that the SILS package will be granted to me in which I can be supported in the community and help reach my goals of a shattered life with the bits that I have left.